Hello, freedom-loving individuals. Yes, you are my audience, and other than the individual who is courageous enough to be himself or to be herself, I don't have any audience. And the question remains, are you willing to begin to talk with yourself? Are you willing to listen to yourself and instruct yourself and rely on your own authority to live the life that you can only live if you are truly an individual, and if you listen to yourself, what you say to yourself, and you say it out loud? Because if you don't say it out loud, you can't hear it. And so what you supposedly think is just a fantasy which is made up because of your usual way of talking, in which you don't listen to yourself. So are you going to talk out loud with yourself and hear what you say, and sort of just really pay attention to the instruction that you give to yourself, like, that is who I am, that is who I can be. That is also the case, right? Because you cannot be who you believe to be. You can only be who you are if your language fits with your experience, if your language matches with your individually lived experience. And so that can only occur, that match can only happen, that congruence can only happen if you no longer believe in the fantasy of inner language. So are you individual enough to acknowledge that all language is overt? Because that is what individualism really means. If you still somehow fall into this group behavior where you adhere to this illusion of inner language, which is of course maintained by disembodied language, in which you do not listen to yourself, then supposedly somebody else is the authority, not you, and therefore you need to listen to somebody else who tells you how to live your life, and therefore you are either influenced by somebody else or you're trying to influence somebody else, but you're not influencing yourself. You're not directing your own life in the way that you want to live it. You cannot be an individual with disembodied language. Disembodied language is the language of the group, and embodied language is the language of the individual. Moreover, disembodied language, the language of the group, is, if you look at it from an individual perspective, like I do, then disembodied language is the incorrect way of using language. It is incorrect because you can never really refer to yourself. If you do not listen to yourself, how can you refer to yourself? You're out of touch. You can't say what you want to say because you are always busy with others. How they perceive it, whether they understand it, whether they accept it, whether they acknowledge it, whether they reinforce it. No. When you speak with yourself, it is all just only you. Yes. And that is really true individualism. And that is when you use your language correctly, because now you listen to yourself while you speak and you don't miss a word of what you say. Every word matters. And you are with it all the time. There's not a break anymore because your conditioning history takes over. No. That conditioning history, although it may be there, you completely ignore it, because even though it can be showing up, you just don't care about it. Just in the same way that you don't care about disembodied language, you don't care about your own disembodied language history of conditioning anymore. It's just done, because you know you want to go on with embodied language, even though you may still have some disembodied language once in a while. It doesn't bother you. It doesn't mean anything to you. It's just something that bothers other people. So you can also just begin to say to yourself about your own disembodied language, it doesn't bother me that I have disembodied language, it bothers other people. And when you begin to adhere to your own embodied language, you realize like, wow, so it was always other people that brought you into disembodied language, or that prevented you from having embodied language. Yeah? So your disembodied language is not your concern. Your disembodied language is the concern of others, not you. Because you go on with embodied language in spite of your own conditioning, in spite of, what everybody else does. So it is truly a heroic act. It is a courageous act. It is an act of liberation, an act of claiming your own autonomy. Yeah? And so, do you see me? Do you hear me? That is what I am all about. That is what embodied language is all about. And if you do not get that, you don't understand what embodied language is. And probably you haven't understood it because you could only understand it if you first experience it. And yes, experiencing it means you have to talk with yourself. You have to listen to yourself. You have to talk with yourself in such a way that listening to yourself is not a problem. Yeah? Why is listening to yourself a problem? It's because of the way you talk. If you talk with yourself the way you want to talk, then you want to listen. So, and then you experience it, then you feel it, then you know what it is because you are doing it. Yeah. And it is it is all matter of muscle memory, you know, these jaws, they go up and down. and I'm riding my bicycle right now, right? It's also muscle memory, right? So embodied language is also muscle memory. you just begin to move your you just begin to move your jaws and you just say a couple of words and you listen to the sound and you say, oh, look at the beautiful sky with the sun is just about to come up, but the clouds are so pretty, they're nicely spread, and the sun is already from behind the hill shining over the clouds. What a sight. I love it. Yeah. So yeah. So the experience matters, right? And then the explanation of what that means to you, that experience, what that involves, that is something you come to later after you have acknowledged that, oh, that experience is possible and that experience is true. So you may not understand it, but you do experience it. That's the first phase. Yeah, on the understanding. Maybe you know, maybe you never fully understand it. But you can. I mean, I don't claim to fully understand it. I mean, there's so much to it. I have been doing this for the last 45 years, and I can still say that there almost daily I discover something new about this. Yeah, look how pretty that sun over the mountains there. Oh yeah, what a beautiful sunrise. Yeah. Yeah, that is so fortunate that I can be riding my bicycle here in my t-shirt, and that it is such a nice day. I'm just going to leave it here for now. Let me just stop my bicycle here. Just say a few more words here. Well, letting you look at the at the beautiful sunrise. Yeah.